book review time. I like to go through autobiographies. Those are probably my favorite books to read. So you kind of put yourself in the place of the people that you're reading. And I always was fascinated by the Hells Angels. I've never seen any of the episodes of Sons of Anarchy or anything like that, but I always was fascinated by the motorcycle community, especially the motorcycle clubs, especially the Hells Angels, especially all the were it the Mayans or the Aztecs? Or the Gorillas? Or there's so many different motorcycle clubs out there, but I read Sonny Barger's autobiography, Hell's Angel. So Sonny Barger was the president of the Hells Angels for almost 40 to 50 years. He's 80 years old now, and he's still around, riding horses and still riding motorcycles. But he started back in the 1950s. He had a little bit of a troubled upbringing, as you would assume. Made it into the military, got into the military, learned a few of the habits and tricks of the trade. Then he joined. He got out. I don't remember if he was how he actually got out. Maybe he got into a couple of fights and was honorably discharged or dishonorably discharged. I don't remember the specifics. But hey, we don't want any spoiler alerts. You just want to know if the book's good. But they formed the Angels in 1957, and this one was in Oakland. That was the chapter that was formed there in Oakland in 1957. But the crazy thing about it is there are a few different motorcycle clubs who were creating their own clubs, and a lot of them used the Hells Angel name, which seems like that's a pretty natural thing to do. So a lot of them use the same name, and then they progressively came together. Barger became the president in 1958 when the president at the time was thrown in jail for, Hells Angel stuff. And so Sonny became the leader, and he's a small guy, but he's very smart and very intelligent and very charismatic. And very good at convincing people to do things for him, almost as if a cult leader, or most charismatic leaders are kind of like that anyway. And with all these different clubs, they started out wanting to, drive their motorcycles and party. And you get a lot of that in the book because Sonny talks about and I'm not familiar with motorcycles, but he gets very, very specific about how and what types of motorcycles and how they built their own and all those types of things. So it's fascinating to me to hear and read exactly like they built their motorcycles. They built them. So they weren't necessarily the best motorcycles on the line, available, but they built them themselves, which that gives you a little bit more of a piece of pride. If you built that damn thing yourself, you're way more likely to care about it and take care of it than just something that you bought. But I always heard about the different motorcycle clubs, but they always talked to each other, and it turns out that they called each other one percenters. And I was always wondering, what the hell is what is a one percenter? Obviously a one percenter is like we are the 1% from the 99%. But why do these outlaw motorcycle clubs have an agreement where they call themselves one percenters? Well, the one percenter thing came from the FBI talking about motorcycle gangs and people who ride motorcycles, and they said, or maybe it wasn't the FBI, or some type of an authoritarian group who is trying to explain the situation with the Hells Angels. They were explaining majority of the motorcycle drivers or motorcycle riders, and majority of the motorcycle riders, 99% of motorcycle riders are fine. It's the 1% that are the outlaws. And the Hells Angels were like, you're damn right. We're the 1%. That's fucking awesome. That's so fucking badass. I think that is so cool. And it wasn't just the Hells Angels. All of these outlaw groups they allied together because the government was coming down on them, and hey, they needed to have each other's backs, even though they like to fight each other a lot. One of my favorite stories from the book, though, was the Altamont Rolling Stones tragedy from 1969, when the Hells Angels were kind of going to be security. I guess that it was a weird verbal agreement that the Hells Angels would work security for the bands and kind of keep everyone in order. And then at a certain point, all hell breaks loose. One of the people gets stabbed, a girl dies, and I think a few more people actually died from it. But the Hells Angels took the flak for it. And what I really loved about it was hearing the perspective from Sonny Barger, and he was talking about how, hey, I just came to party and have some drinks, and hey, they said that we could come and hang out, and we just came and hung out. But the fact that somebody kicked over their bikes, look, these guys, that's all they do is ride, man. That's all they do is ride. That's worse than kicking somebody's horse, dude. Like, if they built that damn thing, they're going to be offended.
I think we've got one of the Hells Angels on the line. Sonny Barger. If I got that right, Sonny?
Yeah.
Okay, what's up?
I didn't go there to police nothing, man. I ain't no cop. I ain't never gonna ever pretend to be a cop. And this Mick Jagger, like, put it all on the Angels, man. Like, he used us for dupes, man. You know, and as far as I'm concerned, we were the biggest suckers for that idiot that I can ever see. You know what? When they started messing over our bikes, they started it. I don't know if you think we pay $50 for them things or steal them or pay a lot for them or what. Ain't nobody gonna kick my motorcycle. And they might think because they're in a crowd of 300,000 people that they can do it and get away with it. But when you're standing there looking at something that's your life and everything you got is invested in that thing and you love that thing better than you love anything in the world and you see a guy kick it, you know who he is. You're gonna get him. And you know what? They got.
So you come in, I mean, if I just bought a motorcycle and you come over and kick my fucking motorcycle over, I'm going to lose my shit. I don't even know what I would do. Hopefully I would be I would keep my head on my shoulders a little bit better. But man, I love hearing his perspective because it makes a lot of sense. It sounds like it was discombobulated from the get-go, and that concert was not good. There wasn't going to be good stuff coming from that concert anyway. And no one was expecting all of that, but they kind of knew the potential was there. But then after that, you know, throughout the 70s and 80s, Sonny spends a lot of time fighting the law system because the law is coming down hard on him, and he's the president of the Hells Angels, and they have a lot of different things that they do. And I love a lot of the details, the different details that he has. Obviously, he leaves out a lot of details that he's been accused of. A lot of the bad things that the Hells Angels are known for doing, like, rape. A lot of those types of things were conveniently left out, or they were explained in a way that kind of made it a little bit softer. But you have to remember, you're reading an outlaw's book that he's trying to sell. He is not going to put himself in danger like that, but it is a fascinating read because you do want to see where these people come from. It's not too complicated. It's not too many pages. It's pretty straightforward. He explains everything in detail from his perspective, and you get a good feel of the type of person that Sonny is. And though he's definitely done some things, unsavory things in the past, I'm sure we all have, maybe not to the extent that Sonny did, he doesn't seem like a bad person, if that makes any sense. He was all about his brothers, and he was all about the brotherhood. And can you really be mad about that? Can you really be angry about that? A lot of the internal politics of the Hells Angels and different people coming in wearing wires during meetings, during the president meetings, and all these different things. They would have 1%er meetings, and they would have somebody wearing a wire in there, and they figured it out later, and they had all kinds of rats in their clubs, and just so many bobs and weaves and back and forths and different types of things going on in the book. It's very fun. It's very fun. I recommend it if you're into that type of thing. If you like books about people who are just out there living wild and free, check it out. But I do say, try not to believe everything that they say, because obviously anybody who's writing a book from their perspective are writing it from their perspective, and even villains are good guys in their own eyes. Now, I have a couple of books that I'm working on now, reading. The George Christie book, who I know Sonny had a couple of run-ins with him, and they were Hells Angels at the same time. I'm also doing Hunter S. Thompson. Now, I already read Hunter S. Thompson sent me down the Hells Angels path because Hunter S. Thompson did a book on Hells Angels, and I figured I wanted to start reading some of Hunter S. Thompson's books. So I read that one first, and I really liked Hunter S. Thompson stuff, but I'm not going to do a review on that one until I read a few of his other ones, because I'm going to take a different direction with Hunter S. Thompson. But when it comes to the Hells Angels, I think that Hunter S. Thompson was a nerdy journalist who wanted to hang out with the cool guys and try to get some good stories. And he probably, made a little bit of it up, probably exaggerated bits and pieces. Probably a good bit of it was true too. Hard to tell, but you have to decipher these things just like you decipher things when you're watching the news. Because when you're watching the news, what is real, what isn't, all we can do is try to perceive things to the best of our abilities and then understand that, okay, maybe this happened, maybe it didn't. Try not to hold too much on whether it did or didn't and get the overall message from it. And I think the overall message from Sonny's book was live free.